Alright, so I just got this in. Pretty sweet. Look how much more compact it is. Welcome to Mystery Trail. And today, I just got this in. This is a Russian military RATNIK shovel, which is basically an entrenching tool, a spade, whatever you want to call it. But this is a authentic issue. I don't really collect Russian stuff that much anymore because it's just so prohibitively expensive. People are asking way too much money for all that stuff, and I just don't really fool with it anymore. I guess because there's so many people making YouTube videos and milsim and whatever, but I just had to have this piece though. The reason is because it's kind of pointy. It's really lightweight. It's got some chopping ability. Makes a great melee weapon. And this cost me, a few rubles. I got it by way of Belarus. And so far I'm pretty happy with it. I've been wanting this for a while, for several years now, and so I just went ahead and kind of pulled the trigger and got it. And I'll take it with me today. I'm going to do a little bit of hiking, so stay tuned for that here in a minute. But I just wanted to show you this, and you can get those cold steel, what they call a Spetsnaz shovel, which is similar to this. But I just kind of wanted this. This is a little bit more, has more of a sharp point on it, so it can be used as a melee weapon. And I've talked about before about having, close-up weapons on hand. And the main reason is this is just, it's stupid. You can just grab it and hack with it. You don't have to fumble around for it. If you're on the trail and you have it handy, if you're camping, not only can you use it as a camp shovel, but if you have a predator come up on you, you can pretty much knock them loose with this, whether it be a two-legged or the four-legged variety of predator. So let's go for a hike. Okay, so going to go on a quick little excursion here, and I'm taking the RATNIK shovel with me. I'm not going to do a whole big review on it. There's enough people that have gone out and and use it for digging, and they've tried to throw it, use it as a throwing weapon, different things. But we'll mess around with it here. I'll see how it does a little bit. I mostly just want to go out and go get out today, get some hiking in, take you guys with me. The ice is still here to some extent. You can see there's a little bit. Some of this stuff could be a little treacherous. Kind of crunchy now, I think. Like my parents, they've been cooped up for a whole month. They couldn't get out at all because they can't walk on uneven ground. They finally got out yesterday, so. But I've been out some, but just really couldn't go out and do any hiking much. You wouldn't get very far. We'll get up into the woods here. I'm kind of in a little field path here. But yeah, I like to get out, at least it kind of helps your psyche. Get some UV light. That's why people, they kind of get depressed during the winter months sometimes, and like seasonal affective disorder is common. Just helps your psyche, I think. I always feel better after I've been hiking. Plus it's a continuation of my health and fitness routine, which is an ongoing thing. It's always going to be an ongoing thing. Guys, you need to take care of your fitness. Just telling me, if you're overweight, if you're fat and floppy, you need to remedy that situation. If you need any help, let me know, because fitness that's not something that I really. There's enough people doing that on the internet, but you have to watch what you believe on the internet. I've learned over time how to do it right, not fall for the same pitfalls that everybody falls for. Thinking that you're going to lose weight through exercise. That's, you know, it's not going to happen. It has to be both. You have to have diet and the cardiovascular side of it, and you've got to be you have to be kind of that athletic type, clean living type person, really, especially in this day and age, you know, because there's no payoff, man. I'm telling you, I'm learning more and more. There's no payoff to anything else. You just have to drink water and just avoid everybody to a great extent, because just stupidity is all around anymore. I've been having some crazy dreams lately, just weird dreams that I can't even describe to you. I thought about writing some of them down and doing like a dream journal, but I've never ever really done that really much. That's never really helped anything. Just wild, crazy dreams. A lot of times I'll meet, like, you know, famous dead people or people that are alive, pop stars, people that I'll run into in dreams, and I don't know why that happens. It's just so crazy. But anyway, as far as the camp shovel and all that type thing, I don't usually use them that much. I never find camp shovels, like the folding shovels, really that useful. I keep one in my car, or any of my vehicles. And like I use them to break ice with and stuff this winter, things like that. But a lot of times they're not all that useful to take with you in a pack. But this thing's real lightweight. I can't even feel that I have it on me. I need to get like a Molly carry cover for it. I need to do that. I'd like to get an original digital EMR one, but it might be hard to come by. But I can find something for it if I decide to start carrying it. And the main thinking behind that is that anymore when I go camping, I do overnighters, any kind of survival weekend type thing, it seems like there's always just some kind of something running around out there in the woods, out there in the dark, circling my camp, something out there. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, you do anything, usually it runs off, but can't see it. And I don't know, just when I was growing up, we used to go camping all the time, and parties out in the woods. Nothing like that ever happened. Seems like just more and more there's been an uptick, just in creepy encounters. And we've got enough to worry about, not to worry about doing that kind of thing when you're out camping and hiking and stuff. But it seems to be all the time. And the thing about tents is that, you know, tents don't even protect against bears. You know, they could be on top of you. Here you are in your tent, collapsed over top of you with some big hairy pig ripping through it. You know, it'd be hard to get to a firearm, especially a long gun, or even a sidearm. Fumbling for it, you end up shooting yourself. So many people are like, oh, I carry my weapon with me wherever I go. Man, close up. You know, there's been hunters that have been mauled and ripped up, dragged away by grizzly and such. They couldn't swing their weapon around fast enough. You know, you're talking about something that goes 60 miles an hour. You know, you can't get a crack a shot off. So, you know, I'm wanting some kind of close-up weapon. Black bear are known to attack people more often than is reported. You know, they're protected in this area. You certainly don't want to kill one if you don't have to, but if it's self-defense, if you can prove self-defense. But a good whack with the shovel, if you're, you know, strong, if you're fast, you can whack them dead, man. Any kind of predator in this area, coyote, wild dogs, etc., you stand a whole lot better chance with a good bludgeon. Nothing better than a trenching tool, especially if you sharpen it. Have it with you at all times. Just have it like in your, next to your sleeping bag. Grab a hold of it if you need it real quick. If you don't have time to have your firearm ready. And you know, also if you shoot a weapon, you never know what else you're going to hit. If you go firing off, you just don't know. Even with a weapon like night vision, that type of thing, thermal, it sometimes can be hard to get a good ID on the subject. So you just have to have a wide range of things. Now I'll tell you a story now. This happens recently. If you look at one of my videos where I'll post a link below. It's been just a couple of years ago. The area that I was camping in, I was surrounded by wild dogs and coyotes or some such the whole night. I didn't make a big deal out of it in the video, but the thing is I could hear them out there and they woke me up in the middle of the night. And I racked my weapon and they just ran off and I never did. I think there was something just it trotted into the camp. It was just curious. It was just curious about who was there. But the thing about it is, when it comes to a lot of wildlife like that, our night is their day. You know, when it gets dark, they go to work. They want to spend the whole night trying to see if they can slip on something that's sleeping. If you're sleeping, so you want to sleep, you're done for the day. But they're not. They're just getting started. You got to think about that. Don't take your civilization assumptions with you when you go into the woods. That's why so many people these days doing TikTok videos, they're doing YouTube videos, selfies. They're not paying attention. They're out in the woods, they fall over cliffs, fall down a waterfall, people disappear. They become the missing 411 type stuff. There's all kinds of that stuff going on. And once people become aware of it, I've noticed, the media starts to play it down, like, oh, this is no longer a problem. No, it can be a problem. So you got to think. But one of the reasons I was kind of creeped out in that area, not where I'm not there now, but this area was, I went a couple of summers ago, I went over to Kentucky, Berea, specifically the Berea area, and I had some family there, some family land that I could camp on, no problem, nobody would bother me, out in the back of the middle of nowhere, behind some, you know, ranch property. And a couple of years before that, this part's for sure documented. You can look this up on the internet. There's a cattle mutilation in that area. The cow actually survived, but a cow got all clawed up. This is a great big cow, it's not a calf. A cow was completely clawed up, and the farmer called the Fish and Wildlife about it, and they told him that the cattle appeared to be clawed and bitten by something that was unknown, undetermined origin. That it didn't match any description of anything that they knew. You know, it wasn't a dog, it wasn't a bear. Could have been maybe something like a big cat, maybe. I don't know. But it was kind of dropped, but it made the newspapers, got on the internet, and it was a story. The guy never did see what it was. Yeah, man. That's a big tree stand. It's almost like a watchtower. Amazing what people build in the woods here. Yeah, that's on neighboring land. I'm surrounded by Amish here, mostly. But they're good people, and they have to hunt a lot to feed their massive families. Massive. They'll have 30 kids. So anyway, in that same area, I've got, like I said, I've got family there. They were telling me that their neighbor had his dogs killed and mauled up. They were killed. They were mutilated, heads ripped up, everything. He saw it by a creature that he was to identify as a wolverine. They're not indigenous to the area. You're talking about something way north of here. And it was killed two of his dogs. So one of his dogs went after it and got busted up, and the other one tried to get away and killed it too. And it ran off. But what's weird is, even though it was like this great big wolverine, he says that it had a harness on it and a collar, like you would have, like where you track an animal, like sort of like what like foxhounds would have, something like that, the way he described it. And he contacted Fish and Wildlife, and I think that he had pictures of the tracks. He had some sort of evidence of it, and he showed pictures of the dogs, their bodies, and how they were treated. And instead of the Fish and Wildlife showing up, the Army showed up, the military guys. And there is an Army base right across from the area. That's where they had stored all the chemical weapons and everything that they were eliminating. That they were taking out of storage, and they were incinerating it. And they told him to shut up about it. This is according to this guy now. Told him to shut up about it. And they confiscated his phone, any pictures that he had, and told him just to forget about it. And that's where it was just dropped. He went and told people about it, though. He said that it happened. No, but that was that same area. I mean, it was in the neighboring area. So that's why I was a little bit kind of creeped out when something is running around out there on four legs, kind of sneaking up on the camp, kind of nosing around. But I was sufficiently armed, but it makes me real edgy though anymore. It's just, I don't know, that's, anytime that I've gone camping, especially in deep woods, I run into bear sign. I can hear them out there. Big footprints, big footprints. And there's bear around this area too. I've seen them just like around here. But usually all you ever see them is a big fat butt running in the other direction. You can barely catch them because they are afraid of people. They're not like national park bear that are, you know, you can just pretty much go walk around your vehicles, get your trash cans, that kind of thing. So anyway, I just wanted to put that forth, that, you know, you can't always rely on firearms at all times. It's good to have them there. I'm all for it. But just don't think that it's a talisman that's going to protect you from all evil, even if you train all the time and are really good and quick. One of the tricks I use, I try to remember, is when I set up a campsite, is I will actually go around and urinate all around it. Put my scent up. So that'll ward off a whole lot of stuff right there. They get wind of that. And to them it's like a warning, like, this is somebody else's territory right now, you better get out of here. And it does work. All right, so I've got this, and it's just bone stock. I just got it today out of the mail. I've not sharpened it or done anything to it, but, you know, so that's pretty decent. Yeah, it needs to be sharpened probably. Of course, that's green. That's not too bad. Yeah, if I sharpen this, it might make a pretty good camp axe type thing. Let's see what else we can stab and hack. I've used tomahawks sometimes, and I don't think really that they're that useful either, really. Machetes are good for when it's like green wood, but they're not much count on dead dried wood. Pretty cool. There you go. The thing is, I make sure that it doesn't bend, because that's how you can tell good cutlery from bad is the heat treatment on it and whether or not it will bend. And it doesn't appear to have done so, and I'm happy with that. I bought so much crap over the years that that bends with the first whack, and you know, it won't hold an edge, it'll bend the edge, all that kind of thing. And we don't want that. That's why I get good quality stuff. Usually military grade for the most part. Sometimes I'll get commercially made stuff. It just depends if it suits my needs, you know, price point and everything. See, there we go. I like that. I really like it.